Hello, welcome back to Marcella's World. So, as you saw from the title, this is chapter one of this very exciting series on women empowerment, self love, self discovery, all of that. So, what we're going to do is, if we're going to start with chapter one, then we're going to go back to the beginning when I personally thrusting myself into womanhood, okay? And we're going to call it thrusting myself into womanhood because I was only 17 and had no business trying to be a woman. I should have been being a cheerleader or learning, educating myself, doing something. But no, I wanted to be as we all are. We all want to be women before our time. We always want to wear makeup sooner. We always want to talk to guys sooner and all of that. Okay. But let me share how I started my whole womanly journey. So, first off, I was 17, like I said. Um, I was in high school at the time. I was in a relationship with a guy, and we did what people who make children do, and we had no idea what we were doing. So I ended up getting pregnant. I was at the time living in a completely different city, and then I ended up moving back to where I'm from, which is Virginia. I ended up moving back, and I was with my brother. And so at the time, I didn't really have a whole support system like maybe some people might have their mom, their dad, their families. I didn't have my mom or my dad. I just had my brother. So it was a different situation for me, and even more reason that I should not have been bringing a kid into that situation. But what do you do? So, what I ended up doing was I moved back to Virginia, and then I really honestly came to the conclusion in my head when I found out that I was pregnant that what the heck am I going to do? I was petrified because I thought my brother was going to kill me. Um, but either way, everything kind of just happened how it did. He ended up finding out because he noticed that things were different with me, and I started going to the doctor. But when I started going to the doctor, I was 5 months pregnant when I started going to the doctor. I was hiding to the best of my ability. Um, but yeah, I started going to the doctor, and then before I knew it, I was growing. It was like it was no baby bump, and then it was all the baby bump, all all at the same time. So the guy that I was dealing with at the time, he was not in the picture. He didn't do a good job of trying to be in the picture. So I went through my whole pregnancy with my brother's support and my godmom's support, and maybe a couple family friends. But I decided that I was going to drop out of school because I felt like I needed to work. And I really honestly didn't want to go to school with a big stomach and have people judge me, which shows where my head was at the time, because who cares what they think? But this is the age I am now. But honestly, I should have been thinking that then, because I kind of made it harder on myself by not going back to school, because me going to school would have been a part of my regular life. Get up, catch the bus, go to school, come home, take care of your kid. But I kind of went all around the Marbury Bush, had to get on a city bus, go to a vocational school or like a tri-city center and try to get my GED and all of this extra stuff that I really wouldn't have had to do if I had just stuck with what I was doing in the first place, which was going to school. So, anyway, dropped out of school, started working. I was determined from day one that all I had was me. Although I had the support of my family, my godmom, my brother, I still had it in my mind. I was determined that I was going to be a present mom. I was going to do what I needed to do, whatever that took. If I had to work 25 jobs, that's what I was going to do. Okay. So moving forward with the story. So my daughter ended up coming along at the end of my 17. I was going into 18, and I had her, and her father didn't step up to the plate even then. It was still just me. And it was not easy. The delivery process was not easy because at the end of the day, kids or young people don't really have the experience to know what to do through that. So you kind of have to just go through it. And within itself, it's kind of a, depending on how it goes, a little bit of a traumatic experience because you're just like, I'm scared. What is happening here? All of these people are looking at me. I'm having a baby. I got to go home with this baby. I don't know what to do. It's a lot. It's very, very stressful. And I get that. But I will say this. I will say this. If I had to do it over, okay? Now, you know what? Let's just say God has a plan for all of us, and He is going to make good of whatever decisions that we make. He's going to make it so it all works together, okay? So don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like my life is over, because it's not. What you feel now is not what you will always feel. Eventually, you'll come out on the other end of it, as depending on the decisions that you make and the motivation that you have behind those decisions. Because again, we are saying if you are becoming a mother, you are thrusting yourself into womanhood. And a big part of womanhood is making proper decisions that are not just beneficial for yourself, but beneficial for everybody involved, including your kid, your family, and yourself. So, moving forward, if I had to give you guys one thing that I would have done different, actually two things that I would have done different. One of them would have been I would have left the boy alone. I sure would have. I would have left his hind parts right where he was. And I would have not thought about a boy at all. Because boys have a tendency to get what they want to get, and then they scurry on. And then in the middle of the night, us women have to be with the sick babies and this and that and the third. All boys are not like that. However, depending on the person's family, it is possible that that can be the case. So I would have left the boys alone. And if I had still dealt with them or been friends with them, I would have used my brain a little better about what the consequences would have been. Okay. The other thing is I wouldn't have dropped out of school. I would have done a better job of making a plan for my life long term instead of just going one step at a time, doing one thing at a time, not really having a plan, just letting life drift me along. I would have had a plan. Okay. So I hope that you guys think about that. If you not only if you are in multiple stages of this, if you are not sexually involved with anybody and you just want a good reason not to be, or if you are sexually involved and you are in a situation where this is a possibility, or if you've already had a baby, this is necessary things for you to know because it will save you some headache. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. I hope my little story gave you some insight. You guys make sure you ask me whatever questions you have down in the comment section below. Let's chit chat about it. Okay. If you're young and you need encouragement, or if you've been in that situation before and you want to make sure that you are sharing your thoughts and insight with some young ladies in the comment,